Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of Elections Update.
On this morning's show, we're going to be talking to Amy Connelly, Disabled Students Officer, about her role as a non-SAB in the Guild.
And political analyst for the live elections night, Freddie Herzog. That's what we've got coming up. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Petty-Demonge. Unfortunately, there's no Catherine today, but I am joined by the lovely Alice Key.
Good morning. We're halfway through elections week and voting closes on Friday at 4 p.m. So if you haven't already, please log on to MyBHAM, follow the links and register your vote.
Yes, on today's show we'll be looking at highlights from Monday's hustings, and Claire Lynch will be looking at the impact of gimmicks on the elections.
We'll also be talking to Amy Connelly about her role as non-sabbatical officer at the Guild of Students this year.
And Freddie Herzog will be joining us to talk about his position in the elections on Saturday.
But first, let's have a look at this Monday's hustings.
It's Monday afternoon and we're outside Old Joe for the second round of Guild election candidate hustings. The candidates have an excellent opportunity to get their views and opinions across the election and why they should vote for them. Let's see what they got up to.
I hope the candidates are quite lively, got through the weekend okay, still quite buzzing, happy to talk to as many students as possible. That's really what we can hope for at the moment.
This has been a quick look at the second round of Guild elections hustings. Hopefully the electorates have all the information they need to make the right decision. I've been Rob Sumner for On Campus, back to the studio.
As we draw closer to the elections night on Saturday, our focus shifts to the individual roles the candidates will be taking up.
Joining us on the show this morning, we have Amy Connelly, your Disabled Students Officer. Amy, thank you very much for joining us this morning. How does it feel being, obviously, as a non-SAB this year and watching the elections taking place?
Yeah, it's quite strange seeing other people actually running for my role, and it's quite sad in a way knowing that it will soon be coming to an end and someone else will be taking over.
Now, obviously, your position's a non-SAB. Did you feel there was any difference with the campaigning compared to, obviously, the VPs and presidents?
Yeah, I think you don't have to do as much as a non-SAB as you do as a sabbatical officer, and I think you can see out there all of the boards and stuff, they're all sabbatical officer roles, and particularly like for Disabled Students Officer and other Liberation Officer roles, only people who define as being within that Liberation group can actually vote for you. So sometimes it's actually better to sort of, as a non-SAB, to limit your campaigning and try and sort of appeal to those people rather to the whole campus as a whole.
Right.
Do you feel like you've achieved the policies that you set out to do in your manifesto?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm nearly there. My main point of my manifesto was to increase accessible housing in Selly Oak. I've spent a lot of time with the University Centre Accommodation Services, and I went round Selly Oak and looked at all the university-owned properties, and we've now got 3 of them being adapted in the summer, so that's quite a big achievement. I've also set up a database with the Year Abroad office to make sure that disabled students get sent on suitable placements abroad rather than just turning up and finding there's a flight of stairs to get to their accommodation. It's not ideal. And I'm also running a training day next month for lecturers on disabilities, so they were my 3 manifesto points.
Oh, brilliant. Is there anything you want to see the future positions take on?
I think it's important to have continuity. I think, it's no good me doing all this and then someone else coming in and not finishing it off. It's very difficult to make big changes in a year. Especially when it's sort of awareness campaigns, you can't just do it for a year and then forget about it. So I think I'd like whoever wins the DSO election, to sit down with them and to go through everything I've done and just to make sure those things get carried on. For example, the training day, like later this month, that could be something that could be run every year.
Obviously, the sabbatical candidates as a team, they have a lot of support behind them. Do you feel like non-SABs get that as well, or do you feel like you're kind of on your own sometimes?
I'm not sure really. Like for campaigning, I think you probably do have a smaller campaign team than the SABs. But I don't know, I think, as I said, because you campaign less, I don't think you need such a big campaign team behind you. Because like for Liberation officers, you're only campaigning to those groups that define into that group. So,
As a postgrad, how do you feel like you're balancing your degree? Because obviously, like the sabbatical officers, they get paid to do it and they take a year out, but you've got your degree as well as, you know.
I do far too much guild stuff. Like, I'm always in the office. Like, I'm very much a finisher, and I don't like doing a bit and then getting on with my degree and doing a bit more. So if I start something, I have to finish it. So because I do a law degree in a year as well, so it is hard. But I think it's just about sort of I try and dedicate a day a week just for doing guild stuff. But it's hard when you're constantly getting emails from students and you want to follow them up as quick as possible. It's just about being disciplined, I guess.
Amy, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Now, as you've probably noticed, a lot of the candidates running for the 2013 Guild elections are running under a gimmick.
But do these gimmicks make a difference to the campaign, and are the individuals still taken seriously? Claire Lynch was out and about on campus talking to students about this issue.
Many students recognise their officer candidates by the inventive taglines and costumes that they adopt. In reality, many students vote for free sweets and creativity over a solidly reasoned manifesto. However, in recent years, more and more candidates are choosing to run without a gimmick. The long-standing argument in favour of nicknames and costumes is that it engages hard-to-reach students. But with less than a quarter of us voting in the 2012 elections, how effective a form of marketing is a gimmick?
In terms of sort of slogans and taglines, I think sort of when you base yourself more on a gimmick, that is kind of unfortunate and sort of detracts away from the main policies.
I look more at policies rather than, if someone's gimmick looks good and stuff like that.
I really respect everyone who's put so much effort in. I think maybe the posters and everything is too much effort. But if nobody did it, then nobody would have to do it, and the campus would look a lot better than it does now.
While some find them patronising, others believe they inject a much-needed element of fun into the campaigning weeks. In May 2012, a motion was put to Guild Council to ban gimmicks in the 2013 elections, on the grounds that they distract from policy. It was not passed, but the motion raised a serious question. Does the importance placed on having a good gimmick make the elections nothing more than a contest of who can paint the most cardboard?
I think that gimmicks can be an effective way to engage students if they're done correctly, if candidates use them to their best effect and don't let them overshadow policy. I think it is fair to say policy is the main thing.
Gimmicks are currently the fastest and most effective way to reach students on campus, but there are clearly problems with the system. While there is a case to be made that gimmicks distract from policy, are we underestimating the average student by assuming they can be fooled by free sweets?
Thank you there, Claire.
We're now joined by Freddie Herzog, who's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on elections night. Freddie, what can we expect from the media groups for coverage this year?
The media groups will be providing a whole range of coverage. So you've got Burn FM doing the audio coverage on their live stream on the internet. You've got Red Brick doing the live blog. There'll also be live images streamed on their live blog. And also GCV will obviously be covering it. Both myself and Owen Erica will be kind of the political analysts of the evening, looking at the candidates' manifestos, what can be achieved, and actually scrutinising whether what's achievable in their policies or not.
Okay, so as the political analyst, are you going to be sort of interviewing them? You said sort of scrutinising.
Yeah, we'll be interviewing past, present and future sabbatical candidates. So a few will be coming back from last year to see how their year out of office has gone. We'll be interviewing both, I think, David Franklin, the President, and Ollie Cosentino, the Vice President of Activity and Development, about how their roles have gone this year, and also some of the winners of the elections this year, to see, as I say, whether their manifesto points are actually feasible in the year that they have.
Obviously, as a previous editor of Red Brick newspaper, have you been happy with how Red Brick's run its coverage this time?
I have, yes. I think with the Guild Elections mini site, it's been great to have the three media groups because everyone specialises in their own different ways. So it's been great to have that main central hub where everyone can contribute to it. Because it's always rather felt sort of like each media group has sort of been in competition with each other. And now it's far better to be working together. I think Red Brick's coverage certainly has been good. Yeah.
The social media has also been a lot bigger, the presence for the elections, hasn't it?
Yes.
Have you got any specific part in that?
I haven't personally. I mean, I've been interested to see more, every year there's more social media, more Facebook groups, more Twitters set up, more Twitter handles set up. I think it's good that people are engaging with the social media in terms of that. I mean, we, in terms of the live blogging for Redbrick, we have been trying to use Twitter more, not just the live blogging system, but also Twitter, Facebook, to get the message out there to as many students as possible.
And do you feel like that social media presence and all the three media groups being together this year, do you think that'll make a difference to voter turnout?
I hope so. I mean, speaking to students sort of in seminars who haven't been that involved with the Guild and sort of say, oh, are you going to vote? Oh, probably not, it doesn't affect me, which is a bit of a shame when people have worked so hard on promoting the elections. And I think that is a kind of more general feeling across campus, the apathy with the Guild elections. I'm not sure. I mean, I hope there is a higher voter turnout. The voter turnout, I think, is about 25% at the moment. It's not very good compared to the sort of national average. It would be far better to see a lot more people voting, especially when it's so easy online as well.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Owen. Freddie? Freddie.
As we said earlier on in the show, voting closes on Friday at 4 p.m. So please log on to MyBHAM and vote.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but thanks again to our guests, Amy and Freddie. Definitely Freddie.
I'm Alice Key.
I'm Josh Petty-Monge.
And this has been your Elections Update.
Thanks for watching.